Hey guys, I want to greet all of you today. Today we are guests at each other's place. Let's enjoy this time together. I would like to introduce you to my friend and partner Ivan Lemirev, who is a highly skilled individual that brings immense value to our team. Ivan is a gift from God. One of the most brilliant people on the planet. This is simply from my personal perspective. And it just so happened that we are presently engaged in something together at this particular moment in time. Today, we will inform you about our activities and provide an overview of the work that we do on a daily basis. We do everything. We do everything.
Yes, listen, it is indeed a rare occurrence when we are able to have such a face-to-face conversation with a substantial number of eyes present. Well, all the better. Listen, in actuality, I would like to commence by expressing that individuals generally recognize me as an extremely down-to-earth individual. When individuals make connections between the words grounding, logic, structure, the immediate association that comes to their mind is my name, as I am strongly linked to these concepts. Usually everyone is used to me proving everything through natural scientific methods, through logic, through structure, through system. Numerous individuals come to me seeking a systematic explanation. And when people discover that you and I are working in collaboration, they are genuinely surprised and intrigued by our partnership. Where are you currently located? Where can spirituality be found? That is, you are positioned on the opposite side of it. Actually, this is truly paradoxical because I have always been in favor of such firm approaches, fundamental approaches, natural scientific approaches. And in the prior year, they started to observe how frequently I visited the Canary Islands. Truly, I often visited the Canary Islands. Many individuals started inquiring about what is happening, what it is, what you are doing. And I commenced to respond to many people that there is a specific metamorphosis occurring, a transformation. So for a considerable number of years, I was heading towards something. By means of neurophysiology, physics, mathematics, by way of psychophysiology, by using simple logic. I attempted to comprehend God's concept. I made an effort to grasp how He intends to communicate the significance of our existence to us. And then after starting to communicate with you, I have these gaps, fundamental gaps in such solid knowledge that I had, and now they have been completely filled. They refueled, I experienced a significant decrease in weight. I achieved a state of satisfaction that I had never felt before, leaving me feeling lighter and more content than ever. And I commenced to analyze this matter extensively. I conversed with a multitude of individuals regarding it, and I arrived at the realization that the state of being is essentially akin to a remarkably solid currency that holds significant value and is well worth the effort of earning. And everything else is merely a substitute for something significant that we endeavor to incorporate into our lives. And you, similar to a white thread within your knowledge, essentially promote this concept that the state, in fact, is primary. It sets the tone for everything that happens in reality. This is all that people strive for, yes, and all the rest, the attributes that surround us are actually illusory. Yes, they are allowed to experience the condition. I would be interested to have a conversation here. Let's fundamentally transition away from what I attracted, because I was drawn to the state of being that I attracted. I have seen many successful people. I have seen many powerful people. I have seen people who are popular. Throughout my life, I have personally interacted with thousands of people. I am a very sociable person. However, only a small number of them exhibit variances in the state that I would naturally be inclined to gravitate towards. And you are the initial person who demonstrated to me the extent of state management. You are the very first individual who showed me the process of creating, igniting, making my state exemplary, and carrying it forward in a remarkable manner. I have known you personally for a year now, almost more than a year, and I have never encountered individuals with such consistently positive, strong, and solid state of being as yours. And I became interested in this. I tried to solve this paradox. Every month I would come to you for a week or two. You were explaining something to someone on the board, drawing. I sat there, as I always do, for the first time and listened. My task is to understand. If he has something, my task is to learn. Tell me, when did you initially become aware, when did you fully comprehend and grasp this concept that the state, it takes place within you and it essentially generates and shapes your entire life experience?
Wow, great question. So, during that period when my debts were at their peak, I was living in a room without a toilet, without a shower. All of this was happening, this whole story, then nothing and no one was left. This tooth was extracted in fragments manually on January 2nd due to the unavailability of medical assistance, lack of financial resources, and the fact that January 2nd happened to be a Sunday. And during this period, I stay there, I sit there, and I realize that there is no one, nothing. All of this is here, all these situations. And in this situation, it's like you can either just accept it as it is, or something needs to be done about it. I came to the realization that in order to extricate myself from the overwhelming chaos that surrounds me, the sole means of achieving liberation is by cultivating a mindset characterized by exuberant joy and happiness. Despite the chaos happening, the sole means for me to escape from this madness is in a state of joyfulness. Why? Because no matter who I talk to, whether it's my mother, father, or a person who owes me a lot of money, or a person I want to ask for money, or anyone else, no matter who this person is, if I communicate with him joyfully, it will be one type of communication. If I communicate with him in an irritated, depressed state, it will be a different type of communication. If I engage in any activity, whether it's a task, weightlifting, pull-ups, push-ups, or writing, I make sure to write a letter addressed to someone, regardless of who it may be. Irrespective of my actions, the result will vary based on the circumstances. In other words, if I approach it with joy, the outcome will be different. I do things in a different way, a different manner. Even if I drink water in a joyful state, it affects me in a certain way, and there are certain sensations in the body. I drink in irritation just like others. Scientists are already showing how water crystallizes when different music plays. And then I sort of just looked at this moment for myself very simply. I realized that I need to somehow get out of all this hustle and bustle that is happening in my life. And it will be easiest for me in the first instance to keep going, and then if something else comes flying in, it is perceived as a problem that needs to be addressed or dealt with. Realize later these weren't real problems, etc., but it doesn't matter now, specifically focusing on this issue. Regardless of the circumstances that arise in my life, the simplest course of action is to embrace them with a sense of tranquility and happiness. In this state, I do not isolate anything. I perceive the complete picture as a whole, without focusing on individual elements or details. In the event that my state has undergone a change, it has undergone that change due to a single reason: my inability to accept something in its current state. So, by focusing on something specific from everything that's happening, I become less effective and fail to see the whole picture as a whole. And that is it. I simply examined this mechanism at this location. And once it was examined, I did not permit myself to merely proceed being in some sort of suppressed condition and so forth. I didn't understand why I should continue this, why play this game like this, be somewhat depressed, still be a person with debts, and so on. I realized that my way out is a joyful, calm state. In this state, I can see the whole picture. Something is happening. I still see it all, maintaining a calm state. And thus, I initiated the process of honing my ability to remain calm during that specific period of time. They will eliminate, no problem. I do not have any information. A vehicle will impact, no problem. But until that happens, I calmly see everything that is happening. Even if it's a storm, even if it's chaos, the house is collapsing, I calmly see it and look for a way out, how to get through it. And that is the precise moment when I came to the realization that it is actually easier to communicate with the individuals you interact with, to carry out the tasks you do, and to embrace and acknowledge whatever is transpiring, regardless of how it unfolds, all thanks to this particular state of being. In a single word, it is easier to be at this moment.
Look, I have seen numerous individuals, particularly in the business sector, whose wealth is heavily reliant on specific external indicators. This is the successful outcome of the business, the total amount of money in the account, the number of legal issues or the lack thereof, the number of subscribers, and so forth. So there are some external numbers and indicators that currently make him happy, but tomorrow they will change, which will upset him. The day after tomorrow, they will change again and make him happy once more. Based on your logic, my understanding is that he tends to develop a dependence on external indicators.
Transferred the responsibility for oneself onto something located in the external world.
Okay, And what I witnessed in you, in your behavior at least, is that irrespective of external factors, you possess the capability to make a conscious decision for yourself regarding the state in which you desire to be present. And this enables you, even in the absence of desired indicators, to perceive them in a positive state, as if you have successfully attained the indicators you desire, allowing for a mindset of positivity and progress. And to continue making deliberate choices regarding actions and behavior, and reactions and words and emotions that essentially would correspond to achieving these indicators. That's correct. I simply recall when you provided the example of posting videos, it truly resonated with me because when you spoke about your experience, you indicated that you uploaded videos, remained in a single room, and acquired the initial 15 million subscribers in that manner. Yes, without leaving the room. And an interesting detail, how many videos you posted with few views. There were roughly 150, I believe, videos in that place, right?
Yes, there I initially spent a total of 8 months trying, but I couldn't achieve success. I posted videos for 8 months, but it didn't work out for me. I made all sorts of videos, some with production and various others. And then I realized that I have everything, but something is missing. And the last thing I was missing was a state of being. And then I realized that I have ambitions. I then realized that everything I have ambitions for is aimed at achieving a certain condition. And then I stopped striving towards him, I became him. That is, inside myself, I became popular. So it's like when a person wants to be popular, that's one state of being. So it's a frequency on which he vibrates. When a person knows they're already popular, meaning they've taken actions and achieved recognition in the external world, their vibrational frequency essentially changes due to this awareness of their accomplishments. And he knows that he already is like that. I feel like I skipped this stage, thinking that I need to do something somewhere to change my state. I instantaneously comprehended that, all right, it is already present. I closed my eyes and started to realize that I am already well liked at this very moment. It is just a thought that is currently occurring to me. In the end, it's just a thought. And with closed eyes where it says how much money I have, subscribers, all of that is nowhere. This is merely my personal opinion. And I came to the realization that, darn it, in order to avoid contemplating my own popularity, I will need to reorganize a collection of bricks. Why? Just literally why? I mean, someone has to draw something, show it, and only then will I allow myself to think like that. I had the realization, wow, it turns out I am already in this state right now. Well, it is just a thought that I have. And I simply took advantage of my opportunity. It's like, you possess a hand, but you don't utilize it until, I don't know, someone demonstrates to you that you have a hand. Somewhere out there until they give it to you, hand you the painting with the hand drawn on it, and now you're all, I can now use my hand. She has always been with you, here. And I realized that I could think about myself in any way because I already am that. And I, inside myself, felt like I was already popular. And this very feeling changed my actions, thoughts, decisions, and actions. I observed how an individual's state of mind influences their thoughts, decisions, and actions. In the state of aspiring popularity, individuals have specific thoughts, decisions, actions. In the state of existing popularity, they have distinct thoughts, actions. Because I'm a popular person, I have no knowledge that videos don't go viral. I simply don't have that knowledge. For someone who wants to be popular, they often encounter the constant knowledge that videos don't become popular. So they know this, and when they reach popularity, firstly, they will know that they are popular, and secondly, they will know that their videos are taking off, everything is working. And that is their entire journey, in order to resolve about themselves so greatly.
Look, what you described, I am attempting to provide a thorough explanation for my own understanding. So, if I understood correctly, you had a period of 8 months during which you were taking actions, wanting to see results, but unfortunately not achieving the desired outcome despite your efforts and expectations. But at the same time, you didn't engage in self-flagellation. That is, you didn't devour yourself for the lack of results, you easily continued to make attempts. And because you've let go of the thought that there's some kind of void, abyss, unmet need that needs to be filled with something, that you're not okay and need things to be okay, that you initially acknowledge that I'm okay, everything's okay with me, I'm in a great state. And in this state, you commence taking action. And even if you perceive that the numbers are not what you would prefer, they did not have any effect or influence. And this allows you not to undermine your self-esteem, not to ruin your mood. And this is an important point because what you say regarding vibrations, for certain individuals, the actual term vibrations can possess a significant multitude of interpretations. However, if by vibrations you mean that I consciously opt for a state of joy for myself, no matter what circumstances may arise in my surroundings, then yes, I do believe in the power of positive energy and the ability to shape my own happiness. This signifies that I possess a delightful state of being, with thoughts in my mind that correspond to my inner world and actions that I desire to undertake, which align with my intentions and aspirations. When something occurs that should cause me distress, I perceive it in a detached and calm manner, as if it does not affect me emotionally. And correspondingly, I persist in taking action on a positive note with elevated motivation. Therefore, for me, it essentially appears as a skill of managing one's state, which enables you to safeguard your self-esteem, safeguard your emotional state, safeguard your motivation from the typical things that bother people, the typical things that trigger them. And this allows you to move quickly, actively, and explore different options, consider different hypotheses in order to achieve results. Did I grasp this correctly?
Yes, that is correct. Fire, cool. So you see, it is like I discovered self-love at that moment. I realized, why should I torture myself over numbers or any other things and so on? Why do I put this above myself? Am I feeling disappointed because of something somewhere over there? I am not comfortable in this state of disappointment. Why do I opt for this particular state of being? The state I'm in right now is the most important. And after it, everything. And then I simply accept everything as it is. I realize the state changes on its own. In other words, you don't need to maintain it. It supports itself if you don't modify anything. So what's happening is happening, it's the essence of absolute love. Accept everything as it is, in every moment. Everything. And not to hold on, not to dwell in those past moments. Just flow with the moment itself into each subsequent moment, and everything. And everything is great, always in the perfect state. Everything is calm, everything is good. If something doesn't happen as expected in the mind, nothing to worry about. We continue, just continue. Therefore, do not get upset, but rather accept what happened as it is, and continue on and on without giving up or losing hope. And everything, that is, not to get upset, that is, not to let the mind deceive itself, to put oneself in this way, hypothetically, the mind essentially misleads itself and upsets itself.
Look, what you just said, I think it's the main trap that people fall into. When you tell them not to be upset, they think, how can one not be upset? It upset me that something from the external came and upset me. So fundamentally, what you're saying resembles something like this, that the very concept that everything is always fine, everything is always good, everything that occurs is always great, regardless of how you perceive it yourself.
This is what I came to. This is what I reached. For them, I had this directly then. When I had those debts and so on, I was constantly upset. Yes. During that time, I devised a highly uncomplicated sequential set of guidelines for my own reference. Constantly, that is, I introduced constant self-observation. Constantly, that is, it's like observing, yes, that is, a person notices the moment when they got upset. Yes, that is marvelous. I mean, at the very least, I introduced this thing to take notice of this moment when I became upset. Next, I discovered this moment, and suddenly everything, my work, everything, this moment, my guru, my teacher, I got upset. Don't want to be upset, but I got upset. Happened because I've gotten used to getting upset like this. Hence, there seems to be an automated response triggered by the accumulation of information. It is not a serious issue, as everything is fine at the moment. What is it that has disturbed me? Who am I? Did this person upset me? Did what he said upset me? Then I look closely. And then I perceive that it is what it is. And my perception of what is occurring disappoints me, as it turns out. I disappoint myself, it turns out, not these numbers. Not that it's raining there, not that this person got so attached, husband got attached, wife, children are screaming, something else. It turns out it just happens. It is what it is. And in my description of what is happening it either pleases or upsets me. I saw it and admitted it to myself, and then something happens. Then I'm like, what upset me now? What took me out of my state? Initially, I noticed the moment when my state changed, and then I pay attention to what caused it, analyzing the factors that led to the shift in my state of being. In this context, as it seems to the mind, this particular person shows this specific figure or this something, right? Afterwards, I express gratitude for the fact that this is mine under certain conditions, and then I realize that it is my perception. And I just really accept it as I am, simply let it go, that is it, let it be. So, it should be like that, everything I let go, everything just forgot everything, I don't hold it inside me. Because as long as it holds, it will continue to repeat itself with the same person over and over again. And so again, I let go of something again. And with months, after several months, it became so easy for me. Just like that, everything changed, just like that. My days started to pass, shifted significantly. And it has become almost impossible to simply upset me. That's it. And now I've come to the point where everything is just happening perfectly in every moment. That is also, and above all, most importantly, simply to avoid dwelling on the past moment. Even if you yelled at someone, it was intentional. It was meant to generate an impulse in this body at present, and in this body an impulse. This impulse leads to some thoughts. These thoughts lead to some brilliant idea. A company emerges that solves the problems of billions of people, for example. It is like when it seems like it is raining and someone says, darn bad weather. Sit down, eat food. And without this downpour, without this inclement weather, the soil would not have provided him with sustenance. Thus, no detrimental events ever happen. All things should be exactly as they are. And the most joyful state of being is to fully accept everything as it is, without even attempting to modify it, just to exist, genuinely and authentically. To tell the truth, you simply need to exist. Just exist, be conscious of this moment, merely be conscious of it. To possess awareness of thoughts, to possess awareness of desires, to possess awareness of all these phenomena. And then there will be, I simply went through various states, and the most beautiful state that was experienced, let's say, is the state in which, hypothetically speaking, you are a witness to the unfolding of existence. That's it. You have no functions, you're a witness, everything happens.
All right, listen, if I heard correctly, it appears that when you came across a situation that caused you irritation or some negative emotion, you promptly began to focus on the fact that the situation is annoying. In that instant, you attempted to take a step back and observe, here is the situation, here it comes, it's annoying, who is feeling annoyed, what is causing the annoyance? You basically initiated the process of reflecting on what serves as a trigger in this particular situation. And I came to the realization that the trigger is actually located within, that you generated internally. And it turns out that after you saw the trigger inside, you began working on breaking that trigger.
To loosen, as if it were being released from a state of compression or constriction.
So you developed a reflex where, when in such a situation, you understood it was some kind of negativity again, you stepped back, saw the trigger inside, the trigger softened, and the emotion released you.
Yes, because prior it seemed he was guilty, someone was guilty, and it felt beyond my control. And you see, it turns out it's my perception. I can solve this issue myself, meaning I can already solve it within myself, so to speak. And I was in the process of loosening it up.
In reality, in such a scenario, you are declining to tolerate extended agony that individuals typically experience when confronting a problem or something that troubles them. They engross themselves in it and begin to stew in it.
And they are unable to live without it, which means that their purpose in life is to derive pleasure from suffering.
Okay, so it seems like, from what I heard, you're saying that yes, you have a certain internal intuitive mechanism that was born inside you, you implemented it, and it worked. Later, you realized that in principle, you can abstract from this and everything is fine.
Yes.
All is fantastic.
God does not make errors. So I comprehended that only God is present. Let's express it like this. Existence, awareness, power, the cosmos. It is simply that even without all these terms, there is something unique here. And here it all happens. And it doesn't make mistakes. Everything is still beautiful. The sun miraculously comes out. It shines as it should. The rain falls. Someone thought it all out. All these bodies, all these bees collecting. Everything is thought out. Everything is beautiful. God does not make mistakes. Could it be that he made a mistake in this word? It is unbelievable. Did he make some kind of oversight here? I just observed it. I witnessed that it is unbelievable, like a phenomenon. I have no clue what is taking place in this location. I admitted this to myself. I admitted that the sun is not called the sun. I admitted that humanity appeared after the planet Earth appeared. So I just admitted to myself that the planet Earth appeared and humanity appeared on this planet. After the OKB participation, information appeared in the form in which it exists. And the information in the form it is in tries. That is, it is a limitation that it cannot convey what is happening here. Accordingly, it does not convey. It's like, no matter how much you describe what it's like to stand in the center of a fire, that description will not suffice. It cannot be compared to the experience when a person is in the center of the fire, literally, in direct experience. And everything, any description won't suffice when a person finds themselves in the center of the fire. Moreover, with every second of living, experiencing, being in the center of the fire, it will change and change and so on into infinity. Because what is happening to me, I do not know for how long and how far back. So I just confess to myself that I am unsure whether it is the sun or sand or a mirage. I am uncertain of what it is. I admitted to myself that I don't know. Whether it's the wind or I don't know, something is felt, something is seen, something is here. It's for me. I don't remember when I was born. I don't remember how it happened. I just always been here as if I was. And everything is constantly changing somehow. I just admitted it all to myself. I realized that, darn it, it seems like someone has everything under control, and I can relax, figuratively speaking. Everything happens here. Everything is fine. I just observed it. Everything is happening right in front of me. I left behind all the knowledge that someone had told me, imposed on me, and so on, which exists in humanity, and simply looked around with my own eyes. I commenced searching and came to the realization, darn, this is not a tree. Well, I acknowledged to myself that it is not a tree. It is not the sun. It is not the sky. So these names do not exist specifically for them. In other words, the entire human race will disappear in a single moment. And all of this, perhaps, this sky will be, this planet perhaps will still be. Even if this planet disappears, space will still perhaps be, this universe. So this space in which everything originated, it will continue. I realized that I know nothing. And it became remarkably effortless because of that.
Listen, I just heard an interesting thought from you. You said that God, in a way, never makes mistakes. Yes, and as I understood this thought, that figuratively speaking, I am looking at the ocean, I observe water. Water possesses the characteristic of being wet. I do not have any doubts regarding whether it ought to have been in a solid state or have a dark color, a rough texture, and so forth. So I have no complaints regarding the water. I accept it as it is. I have the wind, for instance, it blows. I wonder why when he blows, for example, I feel freshness and not some other feeling there, not joy, for example, or happiness. So, for some inexplicable reason, I perceive natural phenomena as they actually are, in fact and in reality.
You've made a really cool observation. And it's easy for you because if you don't like how the water looks right now, this ocean, yes, and you decide to repaint it, it can cause you suffering if you suddenly decide to overdo it. And that is the entire point. And this ocean is not different from everything else here because it is all one unified.
Yes, that's a profound thought. What you're saying now, I want to focus on it a bit because when you talk about something God created, I would like to step back to the word God so that we clearly understand each other. God, yes, in general, we understood each other that God, well, it's something unknown, complex, extremely well thought out, something that we don't know, and that was the primary cause of how everything is happening now. Yes.
Well, hypothetically, we agree that neither you nor I created all this, nor did humanity.
So it's like before humanity. Yes, absolutely. Here, I mean synchronized. So here, God is some kind of abstract phenomenon, something big, smart, unknown that generated this. We do not attribute any religion to the concept of God. It's just a general term. So if God there thought out the stone, I have no complaints that the stone is hard. I perceive the hardness of the stone as a certain given. I perceive the mirror perfectly. It reflects. It is a wonderful reflection, and I am glad about it. And all of this emerged even if we take natural scientific concepts. Even if it emerged as a result of a Big Bang, we are a collection of stardust. So basically, we are all a collection of stardust, once exploded stars that clumped together. This lump somehow started to live and develop. And it turns out that even if we take such a concept, I have no claims to any of the objects in this reality, except for the individual who does not behave as I would prefer. And it transpires that if I have no objections regarding his resoluteness towards me, then for some unknown reason, I articulate grievances to you concerning your behavior. And this is an intriguing thought because it appears to me that it is one of the crucial points in this worldview that enables one to alleviate suffering. What individuals perceive as the conduct of others is not just the motion of the ocean, nor merely a stream of water, but rather as something that an individual selected and intentionally acted against. They do not perceive God in this. Yes, without a doubt, they consider it to be something distinct. Additionally, we have discussed this topic extensively, and I have a sense that an individual, if one envisions the universe as an expansive ocean, is merely a minuscule droplet that momentarily forms a wave upon the ocean's surface. In that fleeting moment, the droplet erroneously believes it is separate from the vast ocean.
Lost in the ocean.
I forgot myself by the ocean, yes. What an interesting analogy, because it's very similar. Our element of consciousness, which is in our brain, creates subjectivity, as if I were a drop. I am not an ocean, and many individuals reside within the notion that I am a droplet and not a component of the ocean. Although I and every single drop are nothing but a component of the vast ocean, I understand you've come to this thought. You're in a concept that includes all human manifestations of any kind. Someone was born, someone died, someone gave birth, someone killed, someone fed, someone took. So for you, all of this is equivalent to a sign.
Regardless of what occurs, I perceive God in all things. All phenomena are of equal significance and occur. In fact, in direct experience, in reality, nothing happens at all. Can you imagine infinity in all directions, this entire universe, not even a point, it's infinity, and nothing happens? It's like, you are flying in an airplane, and what happens? There is something like there. The further you move away, or the more you increase. And then something happens, and infinity. You can zoom in anywhere and zoom out anywhere, and poof, everything disappears.
So basically, since you perceive everything as some sort of...
I perceive everything equanimously. Yes, equanimously. Whatever happens, it means it should be so. It appears that a child has been killed, and that is a terrible situation. It seems to be the case. But the child could grow up and kill, let's say, 10,000 people. And we don't know why it happens the way it happens. We simply do not know. That is how it is at present. And that is the end of it. God made the decision in such a way.
In general, I'm able to mention any religion as an example, as I have researched a broad spectrum of religions, including monotheistic ones like Islam. There, it clearly and unambiguously states that everything occurs in accordance with the will of Allah, just as God has stated. And in the case of Christianity, it conveys the same message. Judaism says the same thing. Buddhism says that everything happens, everything is created, everything is always good. In other words, no matter which religion, even from the top 5, top 10 we choose, they, in principle, convey this idea. And she is intelligent, I am in agreement with her.
As well as Yoga Vasishtha Gita, Advaita Vedanta, Dzogchen, that is traditions, what Buddhism, monks. The essence is not in dual vision. It's as if there is one God, and He Himself changes within Himself. This happens, and that's all.
Look, the things you're saying, a large number of individuals are already knowledgeable about it. Some individuals comprehend this, but an extremely limited number of individuals genuinely recognize and embrace it. And this enables their state to change greatly for the better in terms of the absence of suffering. So this enables them to experience much less suffering. I am acquainted with numerous individuals who adhere to the identical perspectives. Their state is significantly distinct from that of the majority. The contrast in the condition is dissimilar. They appear to be more fulfilled, fresher, and more lively. They appear to be more joyful, happier. I can employ many adjectives and epithets, but all of them are positive in nature. And this is a significant difference. And I observed individuals who interact with you for a few days to a few weeks, spending time in a particular environment or in intimate communication with you, and they also start to transform themselves. Their state begins to change. That is, you have it as you often talk about it, you like to talk about it, you like to convey it, you like to transmit and broadcast this state, it is immediately read through you. I mean, you can be observed from a distance of 1 mile. You possess this aura, it is buzzing, it is bright. Not many individuals have such a bright aura. I mean, it is buzzing and it attracts butterflies to the light source. And I, among other things, am also prone to the same butterflies because I also notice that this feeling emanates from you, this cool state. It is pleasant, it is delicious. One wants to try it, yes, and one wants to enjoy it. One wants to accept it for oneself. One wants to reproduce it within oneself. And I observed how, month after month, I begin to soften my own concepts and paradigms, making adjustments in certain months, filling in gaps in certain areas, and gradually implementing this concept over time. The amount of suffering objectively decreases. I can explain it in numbers. To what extent? Well, I definitely witnessed a substantial decrease in suffering and thoughts associated with negativity, stress, and discomfort. Literally tens of percents of the total amount. This is a massive volume. So I practice psychotherapy, hypnotherapy. I'm a former psychotherapist, hypnotherapist. I did that. I have been studying neurophysiology for 7 years now, studying psychophysiology. I can decompose any of your reactions, any of your actions in any concept of brain study, but this provides dense theoretical knowledge. I derived a great deal from that place. I am typically a positive person, but the contributions you made and the statements you uttered, as well as my understanding of them, promptly reduced the intensity of suffering by a significant percentage. And it was a substantial leap, and I comprehend that numerous individuals in the world. And in general, there is a suspicion that it appears like everyone is actually striving solely for this. Everyone desires joy. It's a state that everyone strives for, as it is the ultimate goal that everyone wants to achieve.
Yes.
In different ways.
Simply, sincerely ask yourself, what do I earn money for? What do I buy for myself what I buy? Why do I start relationships? To feel happier, to become happier.
Certainly, I also commenced analyzing the entertainment sector. The entertainment industry, it is immense, it is colossal, it is one of the most substantial industries on a global scale. It is enormous because individuals are either in an emotional void or in a state of suffering. They require something to extract them from there, even for a brief period. Even if for one HR, half an HR, for several HRs, it pulls them out. They went somewhere, had fun, and then it pulls them back. They wanted to earn money, earned money. They were happy for a minute, an hour, a few hours. They were happy for a few days, then they are pulled back. I have witnessed numerous affluent individuals, and this is the magnitude of their wealth, and proportionally, I have observed a commensurate level of suffering. It is astonishing, despite the fact that it may appear as though it should be the opposite. I have witnessed instances of depression in such individuals. I have witnessed prolonged periods of excessive alcohol consumption, drug binges, and destructive behavior. He was unable to buy himself a fortune as he simply can't purchase it anywhere. There's no kiosk where you can come and say, I'll put $1 million and you give me happiness. So there is not a specific sum of money for which they will sell it to you. And the information you transmit and the topics you talk about, I can see that it cultivates and nurtures this particular state of mind in a person. When you conduct your broadcasts, I hear the words that you say. I run these words through the minds of other individuals, thinking about how this feeling, this state starts to develop and grow within them. Please inform me, what is your motivation? Because in truth, in all likelihood, what we are discussing the single most valuable resource that every individual truly seeks and actively pursues. These individuals who are restless and wander aimlessly from morning until night, constantly searching for something, have a deep-seated turmoil inside them, an intense longing for some kind of elusive peace of mind. And that pillar of calmness that many people desire, it appears to be present within you, and you firmly hold on to it. He is present, you interpret him. And inform me, what is your drive? Why did you make the decision to select such a direction for yourself? Why didn't you decide to just leave, detach yourself from everything, and focus on something of your own? Are you interested in providing enlightenment to people on this topic?
Just like the sun cannot help but shine, I cannot help but do it.
So it is similar to a stream reaction, correct? It is the thing that triggers the most pleasant feelings and emotions for you?
Yes, I'm just such a phenomenon. Okay, So, the most accurate answer would be this: just like the sun cannot not shine, it has no motivation to shine or not to shine, it just happens. And this phenomenon just happens. I could say that before this, like just 6 months ago, the last roughly 4 years, there was this motivation, and it was that I spent half a year in a room without a toilet, without a shower. There was a very difficult situation there and so on. And then I, figuratively speaking, accepted death for myself. Death didn't come, I figuratively went through this, all's well. I must continue living. And then then I had nothing left, I then found God. And I saw that here I manifested like this, manifested like that, deceiving here, this. Just saw how I manifest. So here I get angry at someone, get offended, I took all of this off, left it behind. And that's how my whole life changed. And then I realized that a substantial number of individuals on the planet are experiencing suffering. But their suffering, here they are themselves the reasons for their suffering. That is, it doesn't depend on anyone somewhere out there. But right now they just need to take full responsibility and consider that they themselves chose this. They're living themselves right now. But figuratively, they don't see this and are waiting for something somewhere to change there. And after that, hypothetically, their suffering will cease. That is, when their suffering stops, it depends on something somewhere when their suffering will stop, in short. But they don't see that. And so almost all of humanity, and the motivation was like, and then I decided that since I have to keep living, I will carry joy and love until the end of my days. Here, and this, and after that, there was a retreat earlier this year, and after the retreat, it was like a realization. Everything was seen differently. I'm not going into these terms yet to avoid complicating things. Currently, it is understood that I cannot do it differently. I cannot refrain from saying it at this moment. Just as the sun cannot help but shine. Just as all this cannot happen, I cannot help but do what is being done. And there is no motivation for trees to grow, for bees to fly, for the sun to shine. There is no motivation present in this place. It does not exist. Everything simply occurs as it is.
Okay, listen, what you said transformed into a specific analogy for me. Essentially, you experienced a period that was connected to suffering. You were standing on the frying pan, it was literally heating up, your feet were burning, and at some point you realized that the toggle switch had been in your hands all along.
Yes, you can step down. It's not necessary to stand on the frying pan, you can simply step down.
You turned off the switch, stood up like this and that, darn, it seems like I could have stopped it all at any moment. You looked around and see that, in my opinion, people have all turned on their frying pans themselves.
Yes, they stand on them themselves and wait for someone to be disconnected. Ha 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 ha.
So it seems like from what I heard, you're saying, listen, you go there and you say, buddy, I think you're the one in control of your own destiny. If someone hears you, they dismiss it. If they don't hear, you just kind of like cool with it. Damn, you're really glad that they have the opportunity to come to this opinion, to this conclusion on their own. Look, okay, I heard the logic. It is understandable. It is clear. And from the perspective of what I knew about the world, everything fits perfectly in my head. What you are saying makes complete sense to me and aligns perfectly with my understanding of the situation. At the moment we commenced our conversation, I immediately became aware of a strong desire within me to interact and engage with you in a meaningful way. You possess a strong desire to extract individuals from frying pans, but at the same time, you do not experience any distress or suffering if they are not removed. This is an exceedingly unusual phenomenon because in most cases, a rescuer transforms into an aggressor if their rescue attempt is not acknowledged or accepted by the person they are trying to save. In you, I observed that you do not aspire to be a savior. You are more akin to a neighbor who points out, like says, I believe you do not have a hand there, and the person tells you, no, it is not my hand, it belongs to someone else. You say, well, okay, I will proceed. If it becomes excessively hot, please bear in mind and take note of the temperature. If it gets too hot, raise your hand. Imagine if it's yours. Yeah, so I saw this sense of fullness because not many people have it. I've seen many people who are teachers, masters, mentors, coaches, and usually they also fall into a certain trap that if they try to save and their salvation is not listened to, they start to catch up with you, they start to blame you, that you're somehow wrong, you don't listen to them, you're mindless, you're not mature yet, you're not enlightened, not conscious, and so on. Here I saw that this component is missing, condemnation for not being saved. And this is a rare phenomenon. It attracted me, it drew me in, because in this I feel inner fulfillment. That you are not endeavoring to implement your self-centered motives through this instrument of salvation for personal gain. And this comfortable position, it attracts me because it looks mature, it looks grown up, it looks wise. And next to me, I always try to see people as mature, grown up, and wise. So for me, this is a specific marker. And I saw this marker, I was like, wow, cool.
You know, Sovna, why? I don't deal with saving in reality, and there's no one to save. I don't see anything wrong. I simply do what I enjoy doing. Correct? Essentially, I do what I enjoy doing. Here, if it brings discomfort to someone, more precisely, if it somehow does this, then it means it shouldn't. I do it for those in need. I look at them, see their joy, think it's wonderful. I do it, they're happy again. I watch. Already stops enjoying everything. Everything, once there was an acquaintance, I moved on. And that's it. I do what I like, everything, and I am happy. It may look like salvation, but in reality, everything is fine. There is no one to save. Everything is wonderful. Everything is happening. So perhaps I am not truly saving. And those individuals who save directly may experience the concern that someone is not being saved because it appears to them that something is incorrect. Perhaps this is simply a minuscule and inconsequential difference.
No, that is what I am talking about. You do not have that reflex, the desire to directly save a person, you just show up somehow. Yes, more like hints, guidance hints, but not that twisted urge to save, so that you know how to do good and make a positive impact in the world, contributing to the betterment of society and fostering a sense of empathy and compassion towards others. And prior to that, I have a background of 7 years in IT business, meaning I have 7 years of neural networks, artificial intelligence, scoring systems, mathematical models, computer vision, a lot very related to brain sciences, biology. And this background, well, it's quite materialistic. And here we meet and I see that, well, in general, it has always been about sound, sensible ideas about peace. Everything is fine so that everyone can be happy. I understand. Hence, there is a high demand for this globally. Moreover, I have observed the implementation process and the impressive outcomes you have accomplished in relation to it. The implementation you employ is characterized by non-coercive assistance, wherein you lack the intention in your mind to forcibly make someone happy or to compel a person to experience joy through forceful means. If he does not experience it, then force him to suffer if he does not do it. This attracted me, and I began to notice that I am paying more attention to this, that I am starting to pay attention to what you do, how you live, where you are heading. How, on what scale do you want to implement this? We started talking about it, and here in Bodrum, for the first time, we had a deep conversation about it. I recall September was likely in the prior year, around 6 months back, 7 months back. For the first time, we had such a normal conversation, and I felt the first ideological touch when we agreed that there is a certain scale on which we would like to implement this. And my mind immediately starts building the architecture of the solution to this scale. Yes, resources are needed there, people, a management model, a business model, some legal infrastructure. Well, there is something that I know about this reality. I understand that to implement this on such a scale, infrastructure needs improvement. And I noticed how from month to month I begin to devote more time and attention to this. And I commence to observe how my life and its distinct spheres are gradually becoming more pleasing and agreeable to me as the process unfolds and progresses. It makes sense to me because my state is changing, it becomes more pleasant, and accordingly I behave differently, attracting pleasant outcomes. And I witnessed, damn, it is really cool. We need to somehow supplement this story with a substantial amount of resources so that it can be scaled up, for example. We agreed to try to do something together. And we already started a more business-oriented cooperation, meaning we jointly generated some volume at first. Then we thought of creating another product, making contracts for the business, where we can help the business become popular. They achieved specific types of outcomes there, made agreements there for a number of million, and I observed that it is experiencing rapid development because literally in October, We simply stated, let us collaborate, began earning money jointly, and at this point we are in October, November, December, January, February, March, a span of 6 months, during which we essentially generated several $1,000,000 there. Playful way of doing.
Yes, merely with joy. It was absolutely incredible and filled me with an overwhelming sense of awe and wonder.
And for me, this is absolutely incredible because I think, wow, it was during my free time, just casually, as an elective course that I took on a whim. And I see that it's growing fast, developing quickly. I see that people are needed. I see that people are pulling themselves up. And I commenced to observe a highly fascinating construction in this, that essentially you generate a particular allure or magnetism with your state of existence or being. And the attraction is not so much towards you, but you are a symbol of this state. You reflect it, meaning you simply demonstrate by your example that it is possible to live like this. Many people who know you are drawn to it, including myself. I see it, it attracts me, I want to be involved in it. I perceive a massive quantity, literally at this very moment. We possess our AV virtues, ambassadors of this benevolence, individuals who articulate a longing to participate. There exist approximately 1,000 individuals. More than 1,000, there are already 1,500 people. It's amazing, literally 1,500 people in just 2 to 3 days who say, I just want to be in this.
There are all sorts of people there, including doctors, psychologists, camera operators, editors, just from all different fields, esoterics, just various fields from all over the world, you know?
It is absolutely amazing. And on one hand, it is truly amazing. On the other hand, for me, it is incredibly logical because I logically understand, okay, we have come to the conclusion that state is apparently, undeniably the most valuable resource. And we, in my opinion, comprehended how it can be acquired. We comprehended that in order to achieve this state for yourself, you require specific knowledge, specific circumstances, a specific environment. And this serves as a trigger for it to unfold within you so that you can autonomously manage your state. And now you have a certain amount of money, a certain audience size. This is hypothetically millions of dollars, millions of subscribers. There are already numerous individuals amounting to thousands who now have a strong desire to be actively involved, not in serving you. And I also appreciate the fact that these individuals do not want to serve you, but they willingly undertake it for their own benefit and personal fulfillment.
In my own perception, I do not exist. There is absolutely no trace of my being in any way, shape, or form. There is literally no canary. Themselves. Everyone does it for themselves. Yes, everyone has their own. That's what each one is without. It's as if without your perception of this, it doesn't exist.
And for me, you know, in this case, a very interesting analogy from the world of biology springs to mind. Anthill. The anthill possesses a highly intricate and elaborate architecture that is remarkably complex in its design. There is a massive number of units carrying out their roles, lacking a massive brain of 1.5 kilograms. Their brain literally weighs 0.5 gram there. Yes, well, I mean, they are insignificantly unintelligent compared to humans on one hand, but at the same time, relative to their lack of intelligence, they create very complex structures, yes, very well thought out, and they do it without trailers, without a bell. They do it without a project manager. They do it without a cell phone, without task lists, without Google Calendar, without any additional assistance or resources. So they don't have all these tools, but that doesn't prevent them from organizing themselves with hundreds of thousands of individuals.
God looked after them.
Wow, this is absolutely amazing. I can clearly see that right now the idea and concept you're reflecting on is starting to attract people who truly understand that, darn it, reality is so much more valuable than gold, more valuable than diamonds, more valuable than money, because you simply cannot buy it with money alone. It holds a priceless significance that transcends material wealth and monetary transactions. And having this state, everything is always good for you.
All good at present, yes.
Yes, I mean, possessing all the money in the world, you can experience suffering. Possessing only this condition and lacking a single penny, you can experience happiness. Isn't it incredible? I observe individuals beginning to come out from what currently appears to be taking shape like an anthill, a swarm, correct? And people who are sane, who want to go in this direction, I see how they, by the thousands, just look, yeah, there's a stick lying there, an anthill. They don't tell him, go bring that stick. They don't give him a task. Bring this stick. It's 3 meters to the northwest of the anthill, right? He walks by himself, he sees a stick, picks it up, knows where to put it, and seamlessly integrates into this concept. And I now observe that individuals who engage in writing, individuals who desire to make a positive impact on enhancing this condition in others, they perceive that I possess these abilities, I possess this expertise, I possess these available assets. Some people have money, some have fame, some have real skills. They can do something with their hands, tell something, teach something. Some have connections, for example. And people take these resources and they are like ants. They start putting a stick here, a leaf here. They start building. And I appreciate the progress it's making, even though it's still in its early stages. And I comprehend that you have a specific vision of how this can further develop, of how individuals who have witnessed that this state truly embodies the essence of value, a sort of precious gem of life, understand that it can be accumulated. Somehow you want to focus and unite them. And I admire your determination in pursuing this goal and creating a sense of cohesion among those who recognize its significance. Tell me more about this concept.
Why do ants behave in this manner? Because they reside in the present. If the ant lives its own life, and it possesses knowledge of what needs to be done. And so it all happens in this fantastic way. It's the same thing. Here we are gathered, and if we all immerse ourselves in living this moment, no matter what a person does, and no matter what he does, if he does it from living this moment, then everything, it all happens on its own. So, if he simply steps out of the presence, the hands will do everything, the speech will speak, the speech will happen, and it all happens. Just because a person tries to control everything with their mind, all this, everything, these back and forths, the system, all this appears. And life was creating this body here. It knows what to do, everything. And in that moment, everything happens. And here we are, yes, we met, what a journey, like this body has gone through, what an experience this body has. And we connected, like how we understood each other. Yes, it's like it was meant to be, yes. And then people appeared, a team, how everything falls into place. It all happens effortlessly. There you go. Honestly, I do not even know what it will turn into. But I feel that it will have an impact on hundreds of millions of individuals on the planet. In my opinion, I have a strong feeling that this will bring about a wonderful opportunity for people to become happier and do what they truly love and are passionate about. To reside in the same location, to exist in the same place, experiencing a state of happiness. Because what causes heaviness? A person is in this right now and he wants in some next moment. So, when an individual has specific desires, it is essentially a longing to exist in the subsequent moment, believing that it will be more favorable in that location. Or even better yet, at this very moment, right here. However, that is still unknown at present. And fundamentally, by gathering all together, we do what we do in order to avoid doing what we shouldn't do and ensure that we stay on the right track. And we simply remind each other about this moment in this particular moment and are fully present and engaged in it. And everything happens by itself. It happens, and for us, wow, what's happening here? How beautiful, right? The surprise for us is what is taking place. How is this happening? It's like we were just discussing it recently, mentioning that it would be great, and all of a sudden it manifests right before our eyes. The most crucial aspect to consider is this particular thing that holds immense significance in the given context. In order to effectively communicate and transmit this state of joy and tranquility, it is crucial to ensure that as many people as possible on the planet are informed and made aware of it. Due to an increasing number of wars on the planet, and all events occurring solely as a result of divisions, everything that happens is a direct consequence of these divisions. And they attempt to share something, but it will all remain here. People will disappear, everything they try to divide. But even if they share, teach something, it won't bring them joy. They try to finish everything just to become happier. And it's right here, right now, but it's not seen. There are a lot of fears, anxieties, a lot of everything. It all consumes more. It sits in a person, and this person spreads it around. Yes, flies and spreads around. And here it is, in the realm of the mind, a sort of little sun that shines and reminds itself in all of its various manifestations that everything is good, everything is great, and that positivity permeates every aspect of existence. We will observe the number of individuals it requires to demonstrate its worth.
Look, at this moment you have established the Save the Planet organization, and in reality, based on my understanding, we created the Save the Planet Foundation. And actually, as far as I understand, this foundation already includes a certain number of people and a certain number of businesses. As an illustration, consider a water brand. They provided us with the entirety of a glacier in that specific location. As events unfolded, the decision was made to allocate an entire glacier. Additionally, the factory stated that they would customize it specifically for you. And this is interesting because, in fact, the Save the Planet Foundation has a converter that transforms all resources into a state. So we take all kinds of resources and convert them into the exact state that individuals desire to reside in. And on one hand, you can provide individuals with money, you can provide individuals with food. People have the opportunity to buy the water they drink on a daily basis, and a percentage of the money from these purchases is dedicated entirely to creating and promoting the same idea.
Absolutely, from all businesses, from everything that is being done. A portion of the funds is allocated to individuals in the form of nourishment, garments, or just monetary resources directly on the pavement. It draws a great deal of attention. Thanks to this attention, it becomes possible to once again earn money. We take more money, give it back to the people. Voila, hospitals are built, people are educated. Some hospitals, some people. And this system, it simply constructs itself. And it will gradually attract more and more attention as time goes on. I mean, can you imagine how simple it is? Just because someone watches our video today or drinks our water, someone will have a meal today, someone will be clothed today. Someone gains knowledge, somewhere they start building, they begin to clean the ocean, they plant trees, and it's like we're creating products, and it just so happens that there is knowledge about how to make something, anything super popular worldwide. And the knowledge is quite simple. We simply give it to people and they are happy. It's as straightforward as that. This very moment is just so full of energy. I capture it, you post it, and it gets a lot of views. And makes the brand more popular, brings in more money. Again, you take this money. Again, you, I don't know, give people water, clothes, food, build something, just do something, give them joy. And this is more, here it starts to grow like a snowball.
Here.
Like this.
One interesting point is that I, among others, belong to a specific category of people who could possibly view it as an act of charity, but for some unknown reason, I cannot personally refer to it as charity. This is an intriguing aspect that warrants further examination and contemplation. It's different from what I've seen before, and your perspective on it is quite fresh, because you're actually proposing a model where we take the foundation as a large group of people, whose work involves the resources that come into the foundation of various kinds: people, skills, knowledge, connections, money, things, even a piece of gold. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them recycles each and every one of these resources and turns them into a state of impulse. So you sort of establish the impulse of the state, you manipulate the gears of the state in the world, you are like the engine that you initiate, which enables other individuals. He appeared to enter this state for a minute, but he discovered himself in it. You're stirring him up again.
And he will definitely remember this and will always return to it without fail.
100%. And what I like is that here in Africa, we have already converted around $100,000 in various forms for this. And, you know, I was driving the day before yesterday, I think, or 3 days ago on the road already at night, and there's a woman standing by the road with a sign, "I don't ever give money."
In general.
I promise I never donate money at all. When someone requests me, I don't appreciate it. It undermines the logic of my worldview in my mind. Not because I feel sorry, but because it breaks the logic of my worldview. And here this woman stands, she looks so sad. It's already around 12 or 11 in the evening. And she comes to a halt, requests money from everyone along the way, and I withdraw 200 rendo from there, which is approximately equivalent to $10. And I give it to her like this. She is scared and says with horror, "I would stand for this all night," expressing her fear and discomfort with the situation that she finds herself in. Can you imagine? This phrase impacted me to such an extent that I would remain standing for it throughout the entire night. She was perplexed. She suddenly burst into tears. I had already departed in a sense, but I contemplated her words. She observed it in this piece of paper. She observed it throughout the entire night. Literally in this piece of paper. It specifically lifted her up. She moved forward. She continued with a pleasant and uplifting sensation. She went, did something good, smiled at someone. The person she smiled at thought, "Damn, even a homeless person smiled at me. Life is beautiful." So this sets off inertia, and you ignite a spark, it passes a little, it may dissolve somewhere, you light a spark, it passes, dissolves, and the mission of this plant, essentially to save the planet, is a massive engine that essentially ignites these sparks and fuels the fire of this state so that it starts to burn continuously in the millstones. Very cool. I like it. And look, now we have a structure, we have a business there in the form of production, where we facilitate businesses to rapidly and effectively gain popularity and enhance their visibility in the market. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, yes. This is a cool setup. I haven't seen such an offer in the market. Where you guarantee with your commitments, financial and reputational, that you will reach a certain number of subscribers or a certain number of views. I like progress. For 2 months, we've actively implemented contracts, seen results, and enjoyed our success. Tangible outcomes make me happy. And I see that new businesses want to do this. I see how this money is already being converted. We are making this business more popular, and as a side effect, we are turning these gears. This is cool. I see with water, e.g., production launched, so most likely by end of summer we'll get first batch of 500,000 bottles. And I think, darn, this is cool because I know that we have a budget that literally goes into the budget with each bottle to spin these gears and make them work effectively and efficiently. And individuals in such a predicament, when purchasing water, they truly become conduits of benevolence, signifying that they actually fulfill their own requirements and ignite an additional spark of generosity and compassion. This is an extremely cool model because I have witnessed large corporations engaging in philanthropy, but it is widely understood that their charitable acts are primarily a means to evade taxes, to appease a certain part of the population where they have destroyed something, for example. So there is a different motivation, not close to me. That's why I have always perceived charity as something more hypocritical or not quite what it claims to be. But in this structure, I see that it's not even charity, in fact. It's this conversion. We take people who want to be conduits, meaning they have a desire in their minds. They have a desire inside to give something to this world, to launch. Not everyone has the opportunity to do it right now. And that's essentially save the planet. It is a large factory, a massive mechanism that allows all of these individuals to have the chance to ignite and multiply that spark within them that they desire to unleash and manifest externally.
More joyful, more peaceful.
Yes, that is truly cool. And look, I observe that there are already 1.5 thousand individuals involved. I see what is needed. The more resources we have, the faster we will turn the grindstones. With more people, we have more resources, connections, influence, and subscribers. This enables us to list a wider range of resources and accelerates our progress towards ignition. And in what manner do you currently perceive how these individuals are able to make contact with us at this point in time? I am certain that there are a countless number of individuals in the world who clearly lack the knowledge of how to execute this internal motivation. How do you perceive them as being capable of getting involved? How can individuals participate in the process?
To start, it would be fantastic to complete the questionnaire in order to become a member of our team. Are you a member of the team? Subsequently, there can be all kinds of individuals, yes, like partners. Yes, as they informed us, during our time in Tajikistan, they explicitly stated, look, we have a factory. We are fully prepared to manufacture anything. right here in this specific location. I say, I'd like to quench the whole world with water, and everyone happily, so we make water. Super. If you have any factories, if you can produce something, we will leave our contacts below. Reach out to us, say that we can produce something. Let's make clothes, water, maybe even some products we haven't seen. Tell us what can be done. We might start producing. So we possess the expertise on how to make anything extremely popular on a global scale. If you create something, let us proceed with it. If you wish to invest in any of our projects and express your interest in what you are doing, we are interested in investing in all of this and more. Additionally, please provide a written description. Creating a dedicated space in Kyrgyzstan, as you mentioned, would be truly wonderful. It presents a great opportunity for growth and collaboration, and having a presence in such a beautiful country would be absolutely incredible, right? And it would be cool to create some kind of space there, I don't know, where we can meet, where I can directly broadcast my state, share knowledge on how to do it all, create some place, create some first place, establish a location where we can all meet and interact. Moreover, if you happen to own a business and need to increase your popularity, you can also reach out to us, and we will make you incredibly popular worldwide, and this will be your significant contribution towards achieving widespread recognition and success. If you possess any additional form of interaction, kindly make sure to also inform us in regards to it. Thank you. And we will continue to do what we do regardless.
Yes, remarkable. It is genuinely cool. In summary, it turns out that every person, regardless of social class, regardless of their position, whether they are a student or a billionaire, can actively participate to the extent they desire without any limitations or restrictions on their level of involvement.
Yes, absolutely every person, regardless of their abilities, skills, and so on. Even the fact that you are just watching this video, copy the link, put it in your stories, post it, it's great if you can do that. If you possess any skill, please come to us. I conduct Zoom meetings for our team, consisting of these 1,500 individuals. I conduct Zoom meetings specifically for them. And they transmit knowledge there. They transmit how to achieve the state, how to perform what they do from the state. And what they do becomes more efficient because they are calm in this peaceful, joyful state. You know yourself, communicating in a joyful state is one thing. Communicating in an irritated and distressed state is another form of communication. And this is applicable to each and every thing. And this space provides support to each and every individual in a joyful state. And whatever we do, whatever anyone does, it'll simply flourish beautifully. If you are an investor, your investors will flourish. If you are an artist, the paintings will be painted. Every single thing will occur in the optimal, most beautiful and exquisite way possible. Extremely effortless, astonishingly convenient, remarkable lack of difficulty, truly unparalleled ease of use. Here is just such an atmosphere. It is sincere, honest, open. By the way, about openness in general, I think that we have already discussed this with you. I think about coming to full openness. Well, to me it appears like everything was absolutely and unmistakably obvious.
Yes, absolutely perfect. Overall, I am also in favor of this concept. We did our investment fund on the blockchain like this, where all transactions are open, where everything is visible, everything is transparent, so you see all the money flows. Excellent, that's so cool.
Ideally, if something is not right somewhere, which is cool, people will see it, say, fix this, something's off there, and that's it.
It is similar to an anthill, it simply occurs, it is currently being constructed.
Everything happens, unfolds, it's cool in its openness. Knowledgeable people can always advise. Here to assist you.
So if you have any expertise, if you possess solid knowledge, specific skills, and you observe that you can organize it rapidly, do it in a very clear manner, do it with great accuracy, very efficiently, and you are confident in it, willing to invest your time and attention, you are also welcome. But there are no leaders present in this place. There is no hierarchy here.
Everyone has their own knowledge and experience. We involve them.
The task is to convert, simply convert your resource into this kind of result as we described before. And Save the Planet is a type of location. It is both virtual and real, comprised of actual individuals who have different kinds of resources. Turn this very state into its scaling. Essentially, this is the main concept. And this concept will enable us to reside in the world we desire to reside in, a place where it's nice to live at least. And your state of being will create this world. Here, listen, perfect. In actuality, we delved into a multitude of topics all at once. We approached it with great brevity, relying on our intuition, and within a limited time frame of just a few months, quite literally within a matter of months, it transformed from an idea into a tangible reality that we could see and experience. And it's amazing because just in October, we were just talking about it. It would have been cool. And now it's already millions of dollars, thousands of people. It's very active business activity. So it's already production launch. So many people want to participate. And I see that this is a growing trend. It's just beginning. I see that the scale is potentially very large. And so if you now realize that you have a desire to get involved, most likely you will find contact information under the video or somewhere and simply write. Indicate your presence, simply demonstrate that you are there so that others can respond to you, so that they can engage with you. Provide something such as ants that I can place a stick here that I can accomplish. It doesn't matter that you don't need money, nothing is needed from you. Just say what you want, and that will be enough. How do you want to participate? And within such a structure, we will possess the capability to collaboratively create a form of self-governing, open, potentially the first of its kind, at least from my perspective, a fund for converting every aspect of this world into that highly precious state, as far as I have witnessed. So, it is a great outcome of the conversation that you had a path which led to some insight, and this insight enabled you to reform yourself, make positive changes in your life, and grow as a person. These reforms have brought about in you a state and environment that is resourceful, enabling you to have the opportunity to share further with this in the future. And now there emerges yet another entity that possesses the capability of being a multiplier, amplifying all of this phenomenon. And I'm curious about what will happen in a year.
Quite intriguing.
What will occur in 5 days is curious, with such a pace, with trends, but I'm sure something interesting will happen, so I thank you.
Thank you too. I am incredibly happy to have met you.
Mutual. It is a great team. I believe we have only just started.
Yes, that's why we will be sharing news once a quarter, maybe even a bit more frequently, but we will definitely come out once a quarter and tell you how things are going with us. It will be a type of series. Great, a series focused on this life. Thank you very much. I appreciate your gratitude. Thanks a ton. It's incredibly cool, absolutely awesome. I really appreciate it a lot.
Very cool. Very cool. Cool. Everything went smoothly, summed up, some thoughts concluded at the finale. Finding joy in something brings immense enjoyment.
Does he write as well? Gentlemen, what do you think if we have a discussion about ArcSim? Ha 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 ha. Vani has the ArcSim crypto wallet application. Those who have a crypto wallet will find it interesting. Yesterday we were just shooting a video. I was sending money to subscribers. I sent $10,000 to subscribers in $500 increments to 20 people. And I stumbled upon the fact that certain individuals did not possess a cryptocurrency wallet, or a plethora of various such questions arose in their absence. Vanya sends money through the app by face. So I just opened Instagram, and there's a photo of a person in Instagram. I simply point the app at the person's photo, it scans and reads it, transfers it to the blockchain, and sends money to him. A person simply downloads the application, registers with their face, and has money in their account. Such an incredible technology. If you have the opportunity, make sure to download it, start using it, and I highly recommend it. First and foremost, to those who are already using cryptocurrency wallets, just take a look, it's very interesting. Can Vanya provide more details about it? What kind of technology is it? Is it safe?
Yes. Well, actually, I've mentioned before that I've been working with neural networks for 7 years. I have this company, and for 2 years we've been developing this project. ArcSim is indeed such a complex technological project where we have combined both neural network technologies and blockchain technologies. So essentially, when I send you money, the neural network transforms your face into a specific cipher by utilizing advanced algorithms and cryptographic techniques, ensuring secure and anonymous transactions. And she places this cipher into the blockchain. Within the blockchain, we insert a cipher that can be comprehended by a neural network as your identity. But for everyone else, it is just a meaningless set of characters that hold no significance or understanding beyond their cryptographic representation. So this is garbage for everyone else. But for the neural network, this is your face. And for example, when I send you money, how does it work? The content I generate in the app is akin to a payment made for the encryption of this individual's face within the application, which is already in the blockchain. I prepared it, i.e., when I took a photo of you, we prepared the cipher, put it in the blockchain, and next to the cipher, we put a transaction of $500, a payment of $500. And when you, for instance, sign up in the application within a week, and precisely when you start the registration process, authenticate using Face ID, then it will indicate, oh, this face has already been registered, and it immediately sends you those $500 without any delay or hesitation. With multiple neural networks, we worked closely for 2 years on secure ones, invested around $500K purely in technology at that location. This is a serious and dense project, and we've actively started developing it because it's convenient. You can send it to anyone in the world without hassle, walk away, and they can accept it, and you know they will accept it. That his neural network will check that it's not a deepfake. He will turn where needed, wink, smile, yes. So we have increased security with the help of neural networks. And before it wasn't possible to do that because there were certain loopholes, but thanks to the fact that we have been working closely with neural networks for several years, we have patched up these security holes and made it so that it doesn't matter which country you are from, it doesn't matter who you are, even if I saw you in a video on Instagram somewhere, took a screenshot, sent money, you received it. This is a cool thing.
Super brilliant technology. I just wanted to say all your technologies are very cool, very brilliant, just like you. They are yours. Your products are corresponding. And here's another product that I really like, Synthar, which translates. So thanks to Van has a product, a neural network that translates into 26 languages. So here we record, e.g. this podcast, we can translate it into 26 languages using the same voices and publish it. So, by the way, this is one of the opportunities through which we want to make knowledge accessible to the maximum number of people. I had a conversation about this topic in one of the podcasts. You should make use of it as well.
It's as if I created all my products for this day, so to speak. I have IT projects that improve the work of the SMM department, enhance business operations, neural network aggregators, where all neural networks are in one place, allowing for creating images and videos. Text, there's a service to translate into any language, create a cartoon, translate a movie. That is a large number of projects, including ArcSign.
Training on NNs that aids in understanding neural networks.
Of course, you will quickly learn to use all neural networks within 2 weeks and will be able to earn money online as a result. Because you use neural networks and you can improve your skills in business somewhere at your workplace. And you know, I have this feeling in my head that there will be guys coming who will be coming to the fund who will want to participate, as if it is for them, as if it is a tool that will enable each and every person to earn money, to send money to each and every individual, as if he will allow everything to be spread to all countries, to all languages, what is constantly happening. It's as if it will allow him to quickly create text, quickly create images. I have a feeling that this will be very useful for them. Anyone who desires to can always conduct a search for me on Google, locate me through Merlin AI, Ivan Limarev, and find my Instagram account. All of them will discover my projects, just as if it will truly be useful for these individuals. So they will be able to rapidly utilize this and speed up thanks to it.
Certainly, 100%. Well, everything is going really great. Thank you very much once again, and looking forward to the next meeting.